got Dante Nation, and you got Lukey. What the fuck? Hold on.
It's going
I gotta
down.
get your motherfucker. Hold on. I gotta get your. Hold on.
You already know what it is. Ben know what it is.
Hold on. I gotta get your.
Ben know what it is.
Ego, Lukey.
Yeah. It's
All
going
in the
down.
same place at one time.
So do you believe he'll be your toughest challenge if he were to beat Barrera, Andre Ward?
Yeah.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So it was just recently reported that Sergey Kovalev, he said something that was very telling when it comes to fighting Andre Ward the end of this year. He did an interview with the LA Times, and he said, and I quote, "I don't know if I can beat him, but I want to fight him. It's a huge test for me," end quote. Obviously, Sergey Kovalev, he was talking about who? Andre Ward. Now, the first thing I want to say is I commend the guy for being so honest, Sergey Kovalev, because it takes a lot of honesty to say something like that. Now, what makes this whole situation so ironic is the perception of the decafs in the boxing world. And once again, when I say the decafs, I'm talking about from the writers to commentators all the way down to internet fans in the comment sections. They're all on the same page. But it's amazing to me because when it comes to Andre Ward, of course, him being on a coincidental list, they're always trying to find a way to accuse him of being a coward, having this permanent yellow streak down his spine, as you know, the old decals would say back in the early 1900s about the fighters on the coincidental list. Coincidental list fighters, they were supposed to always be scared and, you know, scared of their own shadow, and they have no heart, even though the Black Murderers Row was the most feared and avoided group of black fighters in the history of the sport. They'll still try to convince you that, you know, these fighters on the coincidental list are just such cowards. They're so afraid, right? Soon as Terrence Crawford negotiates with Victor Postal, all of a sudden decafs all assume that Terrence Crawford is shaking in his boots and he's so afraid to agree to fight against Victor Postal. But then once the whole truth surfaces, we find out, according to Bob Arum and Terrence Crawford, that Terrence Crawford has already agreed to all terms. And now the ball is in Victor Postal's court, and they're waiting for him to agree to all terms. Right? Floyd Mayweather. Even when Floyd Mayweather walks across a basketball court towards Manny Pacquiao, gets Manny Pacquiao's phone number, calls him up that same night, meets Manny Pacquiao at his hotel just to finalize this deal to make this fight between the two, they still call Floyd Mayweather the coward. Once again, guys, these are all code words. These are all code words. There's no doubt about it. There's no way you could tell me that makes sense, that the guy that's actually pursuing the fight, the guy that's pushing for the fight, he's the coward, right? Now it's Andre Ward's turn to deal with this same type of disrespect that all the fighters on the coincidental list deal with. I mean, just think of how disrespectful this is. Andre Ward is the guy that moved up in weight because he could not get Golovkin to fight him at 168. So he was the one that moved up in weight to fight pound for pound one of the best, one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport of boxing, Sergey Kovalev. That's who he has agreed to fight the end of this year, right? So he moves up to 175. He beats the number one contender that was in line to fight against Sergey Kovalev, right? And now, once he beats him, even though the agreement was both fighters would fight 2 times and then they would fight in a pay-per-view fight towards the end of the year, 2016. But why is it, even though that is the agreement, you have articles popping up everywhere saying that Andre Ward, he says he needs one more fight before he fights against Sergey Kovalev. Once again implying that the fighter on the coincidental list is some sort of a coward, right? He's afraid to fight He's afraid to fight Sergey Kovalev because he doesn't have enough confidence. He doesn't think he can win. Or maybe he's questioning if he can really beat this guy, Sergey Kovalev. This is the implication, right? Even though Andre Ward, he hasn't said anything to even suggest that he doesn't have the confidence and he doesn't believe that he could possibly beat this guy. Even though he hasn't said anything like that, they just automatically assume it. And really, it's not even that much of an assumption. Like I said, it's just a code word. It's a way for you to replace the words that you really want to use when referring to Andre Ward. Code words. Code words is what it is. I mean, it's really ironic that once again, you have Andre Ward, who the fans are perceiving as being this guy that's so afraid, so reluctant to fight against Sergey Kovalev. Why? In fear of Andre Ward not having the confidence, not knowing if he can beat him. And then once they point the finger at the guy on the coincidental list, then these dumb casual ass fans, they find out that it was actually Sergey Kovalev that said, you know what? I don't know if I can beat this guy. Now, once again, let me reiterate. Keep in mind, there is nothing wrong with Sergey Kovalev saying this. Nothing wrong with it. He's being very honest. He is being very, very honest. There's nothing wrong with him saying that. I'm not going to say that Sergey Kovalev is now afraid of Andre Ward. He's now reluctant to fight Andre. You know why I'm not going to say that? Because I'm not a decaf. Because I realize that Sergey Kovalev, he's already agreed to fight Andre Ward, right? He's already agreed to fight him. This is why it didn't make sense when decafs were trying to accuse Andre Ward of being afraid of Sergey Kovalev. Oh, he needs one more fight and this and that and this and that. The man has already agreed to fight Sergey. And both fighters agreed to fight 2 times before they face each other, right? So the point that I'm making, guys, is once again, you see how I told you I would treat Sergey Kovalev? I wouldn't call him a coward, he's reluctant, etc., etc., etc. But you decafs, on the other hand, that's what you do. And that is the difference from someone who speaks the truth and someone who bases things off of emotion and heart. I want you guys to picture this. Imagine Floyd Mayweather saying, I don't know if I could beat Manny Pacquiao. Imagine Andre Ward saying, I don't know if I can beat Sergey Kovalev. Picture Deontay Wilder saying, I don't know if I could beat Alexander Povetkin. Do you know that none of those fighters have ever said that, and yet they still get called some of the biggest cowards, etc., etc.? Once again, code words, but they still get called some of the biggest cowards. And they don't even have to say what Sergey Kovalev just said. Do you know how crazy that is? It gets even crazier. You know why? Because now that Sergey Kovalev has said that, if this was really about being a coward and, it wasn't code words, then they would all start calling Sergey Kovalev a coward, right? If it's not code words for something else, then they would treat Sergey Kovalev the same way they were treating Andre Ward, right? Why you need another fight, Andre Ward? Because you're scared? Because you don't have the confidence that you could beat this guy, right? So let's see if all of those same people, they were saying that Andre Ward was afraid of Sergey. Let's see if they're going to all start calling Sergey Kovalev afraid of Andre Ward now. This is just too easy, man. It's too easy to just break down the double standards in the sport of boxing and expose these decafs for what they really are. I mean, there are so many ways to expose these cats, but one of the easiest ways to discourage these cats is to basically use their own fighter that they're praising against them. And what that basically means is, when you're sitting over here after Andre Ward's performance, after he beat Barrera, and you're saying, oh, Andre Ward, he looked terrible, he looked like a bum, and he's going to be easy for Sergey Kovalev, and et cetera, then all of a sudden, the guy that you're defending and praising, he comes out and he says, this is going to be a very difficult fight. And then later on, he says, you know what? I don't even know if I could beat this guy. That makes the decaf look like a complete fool. Okay? So, you know, the bottom line is, this is a very tough fight. But when Sergey Kovalev says something like that, that tells you that he is definitely not 100% confident that he can beat Andre Ward. And you know, when it comes to Andre Ward, I know Andre Ward is definitely saying that this is going to be a very tough fight. But the difference with Andre Ward is he says, I'm going to find a way to win. This is going to be a tough fight, but I'm going to find a way to win. And that's the difference between what Andre Ward said previously and what Kovalev just recently said. There have been so many people, from writers to fans, that have basically said, oh, look at the power that Sergey Kovalev has. You know, with Andre Ward coming up in weight, he's going to be at a power disadvantage, and et cetera, this, right? And then you find out from the horse's mouth that he doesn't even know if he can beat this guy or not. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say, you know, Kovalev doesn't have any confidence, you know, in his ability. Of course he has confidence. But there are questions that are obviously there, right? Once again, before I end this video, I want you guys to really think about what I ask you. Imagine if it was Mayweather saying this, that he didn't know if he could win. Imagine if it was Ward saying this, right? Imagine if it was any fighter on the coincidental list saying they don't know if they can beat their next opponent. That is extremely telling. It makes the decafs look like complete fools. And it was your own fighter that made you look like a fool. I'm gonna leave you guys with this clip. Go ahead and check it out. That's all I got, guys. I'm on to the next one.
When Jim Corbett, the man who took the heavyweight title from John L. Sullivan, had displayed some of the same defensive skills as Jack Johnson did, sports writers praised him as the cleverest man in boxing, Gentleman Jim. But when Johnson fought that way, he was said to be lazy, shiftless, showing the yellow streak which all African Americans were supposed to share.
With black boxers, every trait that was a positive trait, they tried to turn it into a negative trait. If a black boxer was tough and could withstand punishment, well, he could withstand punishment because his skull was thicker, because he was insensitive to pain. That it really was a sign of some larger inferiority. If he was a smart boxer, a wily boxer, then he was slightly deceptive. there was something untrustworthy about his activity in the ring.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.